Morning. As usual, I'd ask you to take a nice, easy breath in and an easy sigh. Sit up nice and tall and really show up today. Let's really show up. Hi, I'm Drake, and this is Touching the Edge. And this is our process, our 40-day practice that we are using both to frame the election, both before and after. So we want to really be able to have a situation that allows us to access our power during this time and not get swept up into all the sort of negativity that so many people are projecting. Yeah, I don't know about you. I used to love to fly. Not so much anymore, but back in the day when I was younger, I used to love to fly. It got to be the point, though, as things began to change before COVID, it wasn't that much fun anymore in some ways. The seats got much more packed. I'm that guy that you see coming towards you on a plane, at least it used to be, and I'm, the big guy coming towards you, like, oh my God, I hope he's not going to sit next to me, because of taking up all that area. I'm also, flying is also weird too, because as time has gone on, it's gotten so much more close that when people lean back their seat, I feel like I'm a dentist. I feel like I'm just looking down at their face like I could give them a back rub. But I'm bringing this whole idea about planes up because of one reason, the importance of equalizing the pressure. When you go up real high and all of a sudden your ears begin to pop, some people actually have a real tough time with how that begins to shift their equilibrium. I know that infants, it's a really big deal with infants if they have that ear popping. A lot of times people will put a lozenge in their mouth so that it shifts that pressure, so it equalizes the pressure. What I'm suggesting it right now is that that's what we need to do. We need to equalize the pressure. This is our time, and we need to balance the inner and the outer world. And this is what I mean by equalizing the pressure. If you are feeling just completely sucked into what's happening, it's important that we balance it. It's important that we balance it with the inner world. And so that gives us, of course, the question, what does that mean? What does it mean to balance it in the inner and the outer world? There's a lot of definitions for the inner world, but one of those definitions is that which does not change. Your inner world doesn't change. There's something in you that has always been the same and will always be the same until you pass out of this world. I remember talking to a woman who I sat with. One of the things I've done for my work is occasionally I've sat with people in hospice situations. And I was talking to one woman, and she told me how she felt like she was 18 inside. What I'm saying is that this happens so quickly, and if we invest our sense of vulnerability, Lotus Sutra calls it a burning house, that these bodies are a burning house. If you invest your valuables in a burning house, of course there's going to be anxiety. However, when we recognize that all that pressure coming from out here is encouraging us to focus on that which does not change, focusing on stillness, focusing on doing practice for its own sake rather than in outcomes. So I'm asking you to focus on the inner world. Don't worry about the outer world. It's going to take care of itself. That doesn't mean that we're not active in the outer world. We just stop worrying about it. One of those elements that originally got me really going in practice is that in my early life, I was dealing with a lot of people who were consumed with judgment and hatred. Sound familiar? And so what I said to myself is that I want to be equally committed to calming as the people I was dealing with were committed to hating. They would be up right away in the morning on the job, already hating. Anytime you would see them, they would already be consumed with it. I use that as motivation. Sometimes the best motivation is not who inspires you in a positive way, but inspires you by saying, you know what, I don't want to be like that. So when I would see those people, I would be that much more committed to doing the calming practices, to doing the 10 state changers. Remember the 10 state changers, writing down a list of 10 things that work to shift you out of a negative state. Things like walking, exercise, whatever it might be. So that's what my process was. In yours, be sure to balance the inner and the outer world. When you feel yourself being sucked to the outer world, Focus on those things that are soothing. Do practices that are soothing. Focusing on things that are immersive. Do practice that's overwhelming, like nice hot baths. Focus on what is going to make you feel more hopeful. That idea, for instance, of dropping food coloring into a glass and having that food coloring swirling around. At a certain point, if you drop one drop, it shifts to the next color. That drop can be you, but you have to do it by balancing the inner and the outer world. This is our time, and we are the right people for it. I'm going to ring the bell. Tomorrow is the second week of our 40-day practice. Here we go. So this week, consider balancing the inner and the outer world. Focus on doing practice that is soothing, and be aware of that which wants you to focus on inflammation, because it's not really working for your good. I bring my hands into prayer position and I bow to you, because you can make all the difference. Namaste.